made us work very hard, but I think you'll see it pays off, and it's worth it, even though I won't have my voice tomorrow, or Saturday. Ava, right? You know that? Before we start, is French fry here? Did she make it? French fry, you're not here? Okay. Please enjoy the show.
Good evening. Welcome to this year's presentation of California, A Walk in Time. Tonight you'll be going on a journey through California's history. Along the way you'll be enlightened, entertained, and amused. So turn off your cell phones, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as the 4th grade brings you this year's presentation of California, A Walk in Time.
One thing you will discover when you get next to one another is everybody needs some elbow room, elbow room. It's nice when you're kind of cozy, but not when you're tangled nose to nose. Yo, everybody needs some elbow, needs a little elbow room. That's how
Around 12,000 years ago, the first Californians made their way to our great state.
Oh, right. They came on the Titanic.
No, they did not come on the Titanic. Be still and listen, you may learn something.
Sorry.
Now, as I was saying, the first Californians made their way here, seeking a warmer climate and new sources of food. As a result, natives settled throughout the 4 regions of California. Do you know what those regions are?
Sure. Winter, spring, summer, and fall.
No, not the 4 seasons, the 4 regions.
Oh, the 4 regions. That's easy too. The mountains, the deserts, the coast, and the valley.
Very good. In the mountains, one of the tribes, the Hoopa, learned how to fish for food by building small canoes. By contrast, the Chumash, who live at the coast, built larger canoes called tamols. Both tribes were expert fishermen.
Let me do this one. In the desert, the Kuya learned how to plant crops and would eat fruit from trees, while the Miwoks in the valley picked acorns and used them in their food in many different ways, like for bread, cereal, and ew, mush. Well, I guess a girl's gotta eat.
Have you ever eaten mush?
Once, but I don't think it was the same thing. I accidentally sat on my lunch one day.
For nearly all of those 12,000 years, the native tribes of California lived a quiet life, unburdened by the weight of change.
Ooh, that's a good one. The weight of change.
May I?
Of course.
In the years following Columbus, the Spanish Empire continued its exploration of the New World. In the spring of 1542, the Viceroy, who was like a governor of New Spain, now known as Mexico, sent a sea captain on a dangerous expedition. Like Columbus, he was to find a sea route to Asia. This sailor's name was Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo.
After first exploring the San Diego Bay, Cabrillo had his first encounter with the Chumash at the village of Mugu, which is now called
Point Magoo.
I used to love the show.
What show?
Mr. Magoo, of course, he was funny.
Not Mr. Magoo. Point Magoo. It's a place, not a person.
Whoops, my bad. Wrong now.
From 1602 until 1769, Spain and the rest of Europe lost interest in California.
Now, how on earth could anyone lose interest in California? We have Disneyland, Magic Mountain, and Osprey Farm.
This was about 400 years ago. There was no such thing as Disneyland or Magic Mountain.
Not even a SeaWorld?
Could you just watch and learn?
At last, our request has been granted from the king. We will send an expedition to Alta California and colonize it for Spain.
Excellent, Governor Valdez, but we Spanish had claimed all of California for 200 years. In 1542, Cabrillo sailed to San Diego, and in 1682, visited the tribe of Monterey Bay. Why isn't an expedition now, in 1769?
Why now? Because the Russians and British are poking their noses around our territory. Why now? Because for 200 years we've done nothing with Alta California. Why now? Because we're making rich and powerful.
And so, Padre Junipero Serra set out along with further expeditions, 2 by sea and 2 by land, to begin teaching the Spanish and Catholic ways of life to the native Californians.
Were the natives happy to see them?
At first, but many of them were unhappy to be forced to give their ways of life and ways of worship. There are many primary sources that tell how the natives were mistreated.
Really? Primary sources?
Yep.
What's a primary source?
Oh, that's where you read something written by someone who's actually there.
You mean like a diary?
Exactly.
I have a diary.
Nobody cares.
Father said, the mission here in San Diego is really to take shape. It's a miracle, Tola. I thought on my trip here from New Spain was difficult, but it was even harder for the ships. The fortunate is that more of us did not die. True. We have now established a Spanish presence in San Diego and Monterey. And someday, we will have missions and puzzles up and down California on El Camino Real, the King's Highway. Perhaps we too will be famous one day. Children will study Father Sarah's missions. No. Wouldn't that be awfully boring? I'm just on Friday doing my best to serve my King and my God. The mission is almost finished. Soon you'll hang up the bells. I love the bells. They've traveled a long distance to become part of our little mission. Our building is modest now, but someday it will rise up with tall Falls. A ringing the bells means our work has just begun.
And so it had, from the time the first mission was founded, 1769, up to the last one in 1823. The mission system was the dominant way of life in California.
But that, as most things in life, was bound to change.
In the year 1810, New Spain, of which California was a part, went to war with Spain in order to become independent from them. That war lasted until 1821, a total of 11 years.
Wow, that's longer than I've been alive.
Right, and with this new independence came many changes. The biggest change was the end of the mission system.
What did they do with all the land?
That was to be divided up equally between the native Californians and the Mexican settlers.
Oh, good. So the Indians got treated better after all.
Not quite.
Oh, no.
Few of them ever got their land, and the ones who did, soon lost it or sold it to other settlers. Then they ended up just working for the settlers.
Oh, man. I wonder why the natives always treated so badly. I mean, what did they ever do to anyone?
Nothing. Unfortunately, that's the dark side to California's history.
Oh, like the dark side of the Force.
Luke, I am your father. Okay, wrong century again.
Anyway, now that Mexico was in control of California, they decided that in order to grow their country, they would invite people from around the world to come and live in California. In return for land, livestock, and other incentives, the Mexican government told the new settlers that all they had to do was become Mexican citizens and all these things could be theirs.
Wait a second, you mean all someone had to do was agree to be a citizen of Mexico and they would get all the land they needed free?
That's right.
Sounds great. Let me call my dad and tell him.
This was in the 1840s, over 170 years ago. You can't do that now. Now California is part of the U.S.
Wait, what? When did that happen? You just said I was part of Mexico after being part of Spain after belonging to the Native Americans.
Well, you just gotta keep up, don't you? Besides, I haven't said anything about the United States yet.
So tell us about when California became part of the United States.
That process started when a group of Americans living here under Mexican rule decided they wanted to start their own country. Thus began the Bear Flag Revolt.
On June 14, 1846, an American captain, John Fremont, led a group of about 30 armed settlers in an attempt to take over Sonoma. They surrounded the home of an influential Mexican citizen, General Mariano Vallejo, captured him, and declared California independent from Mexico.
Later that year in May, the United States officially declared war on Mexico.
Another war? Boy, there are sure a lot of wars in history.
Wait till we get to middle school and start talking about world history.
Stop it, you're giving me a headache.
The war with Mexico officially ended in February 1848. This will lead up to becoming a part of the United States in what was called Manifest Destiny.
You know what that is?
Sure, it was the belief that the U.S. had the right to claim new lands. In the mind of President James Polk, it was obvious that fate dictated that all of the land from the East Coast to the West Coast should be part of the United States of America.
Very impressive.
I watch the History Channel.
Oh, brother.
Anyway, now we move on to the most exciting part of California's history.
That's right.
The Gold Rush! It seems so cold here on the Frisco Bay, looking for gold near Sacramento way. We come from China.
you see this?
What is it, Mr. Marshall?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this gold?
Here, let me look at that. I'll be a horse.
It's gold, ain't it?
It sure is.
Well, the guy goes to everyone.
Now hold on there, James. We don't want to let the secret out, do we? Heck no. Let's just keep this between you and me. Why should we want a lot of strangers coming here looking for gold?
Well, come they did, 5,000. Many came thinking that they would find gold lying in the streets. But were they disappointed? You're not kidding. Not only did they not find gold lying in the streets, they found out that mining for gold was anything but easy. In fact, it was downright arduous. Wow, that's some word. I thought you'd like it. By the way, what does it mean? It means very difficult. Yeah, that too. And getting there was definitely not half the fun.
Howdy, folks. Name's Max. I'll bet you're wondering how old I am. Well, I'm old enough to remember the gold rush. See there? That's me when I was a young man resident in San Francisco in 1849, 1 year after the gold rush started. If I look tired, it's because I just arrived after 5 months at sea from Boston. Between the rocking of the ship and the lack of fresh food, between the freezing cold around the Pacific South America to the blazing sun near the equator, I'd say